So let's make it kind of podcasty. I'm gonna go over this Facebook page for a moment, just so you guys, anybody that downloads things at a different pace and wants to feel like somebody's talking in their head right now. So, all right, let me begin. If you know God, you know you have no needs, and if you can't meet your needs, you meet your God. So why would you have any fear? It's always a lesson in faith, regardless. Like, I got plenty of posts on here from the day because I went on a tangent. If you can get yourself killed, you can get yourself born. That's classic, of course. Oh yeah, I said hoe is life, though. Health over everything. That's what we should take hoe. I'm a hoe. Health over everything. Hoe is life, baby. Anyway, let me keep going. Oh yeah, I said by the time everyone is raw vegan, I'll be beyond breatharian. It's always gonna be that way, though. As you go vegan, you want people to go vegetarian so you feel more comfortable. There's no comfort. There's no company on the narrow path, and people just want company instead of God. So, and that's they or themselves. I don't want to say God because you can't even really give a finite word to something so infinite. You know what I mean? You can't even utter a word that would even do it any justice. So, it's always going to be that way. As you go vegan or raw vegan, you'll want people to go vegan, and then if you try to step back, you'll go through all the symptoms of being sick around them, and you will make being raw vegan unappealing. Because as you're raw vegan, you're becoming more sensitive and using your sense. And if you can't make things make sense, you can't trust them. So as you become more sensitive, your symptoms are going to be louder and louder. The alarms are going to be louder and louder. And as you have people around you, if you're not, doing what you can while you can and going in a complimentary way, then you're only going to show them the adverse side of being vegan. Because you're going from raw vegan to being vegan. If you're trying to step down and eat cooked food around them or make them, do things like that to step down, that's always going to show them the adverse effects. Because now you're showing the negatives of being vegan. Because there's a benefit to being vegan if you eat crap. If you eat milk and sugar and flour and all these things. Like, if you eat all those things and go vegan, and it's great. Vegan's great. Yeah. But beyond that, you go into another level. So once you settle in your veganism, you see like, oh, this is what this is taking from me. This is all the power I'm giving up here. And as you continue to graduate, or as you continue to compliment yourself, you just have less and less tolerance. As you begin to realize your immortality, you just have less tolerance. I mean, that's just how it should be. And people just caught in their breathing patterns. So it's like in the breathing pattern, you get your thought follows your breathing pattern. So acid is an aphrodisiac. All right, acid is what makes you short of breath. When you're shallow in breath, you're shallow in thought, and then you have shallow actions. You do carnal things, and that keeps you in this worked up huff and puff cycle where you're not fully breathing, and then you're not, so you can stay in that comfort, so you can stay there because you know it and everything. But as that happens, you're going to continue to lose more and more value, because even a drunk night has some value to it. I know it's going to give and take. I'm not telling people to drink. Hell no, I'm not telling people to drink. Alcoholism destroyed my family. I'm not telling people to drink. I'm just saying that there's a give and take with everything. And you got to know the cost and you got to know the value, because those aren't always the same thing. So like, if you drink and then you release some emotion or something or whatever the case, or you feel camaraderie, even though it's on a false common ground, a lot of people release certain things using the catalyst of alcohol. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm just saying that it costed you a lot. You damaged your body and all that. It costed you a lot to feel this feeling of communion or what have you, this feeling of togetherness or oneness. It costed you a lot. And the value is in communion or whatever you feel, the oneness. There's value there in that feeling, and that's the real thing. And of course, with alcohol, or anything, you're never addicted to it. You're addicted to the endorphins. So there's no drug that man could make or consume or anything of the earth, that they all just trigger natural drugs in the body. They don't do anything for you but help you realize different parts of your body, and they limit your perspective. DMT, all these things limit perspective. When perspective is limited in a certain fashion, you might experience a certain type of trip. You're blocking something, and that's how you experience shrooms. You're blocking something, and that's how you experience being drunk. It's a blockage. And then now you can fully experience something else. It's like if you drown something out, and now I can hear this fully. I can fully hear this now because I've made a scope. I've made a scope to this. And a lot of people do that for company. We all see the bigger picture. Death is imminent. Death is what you make it, but death is imminent. So we all see the bigger picture that death is something that you can't avoid. It's going to happen consciously or unconsciously. So with that being said, with death being imminent, it's what is the point of having any fear of the death? I mean, really. Really, really. So let me get back into this real quick. Hold on. As I jumped off track. Let me get back at the top here. Because, people want to give power to other people so that they can have a devil in their life to blame for their own unhappiness. And like I said, no one can experience your death for you. So people want company. And there's only God on the narrow path, but people would rather prefer company, or they'd rather prefer a lie. So we narrow our vision, or we ignore our vision so that we can destroy ourselves in a sense, so we can, succumb to a lie, so we can have company, so we can feel false sense of oneness. So, and then, people will attack you and attack me or whatever over this reality this is the reality. But at the end of the day, if somebody's attacking you, attackers lack value. At the end of the day, like you can't. People are caught off guard by attacks because they're not living from that place, and it's not like you can live from that place and protect yourself. That makes it even worse for you. You have to dig deeper into the faith, and again, faith, Fe, means iron, which is the blood. If your faith or iron isn't flowing, then you don't have faith. Faith is a physical thing. You can't have faith without physical faith. That's really, it's all levels, metaphysical to physical. The faith, the iron, you will lack faith if you don't have faith, or faith, which is the blood. So, yeah, man, I mean, end of the day, you got to trust self, and you can't trust the news or nothing like that, man. It's all crisis actors, and the only thing real about the news is your reaction to it. Hollywood and the news, that's all the government, it's all the parasites. That's all the parasites fighting to exist. They want you to insist that they exist because you have the creative power. And as long as you insist they exist, they exist. NASA literally means to deceive in Hebrew. And people act like it's not a movie studio. Like, that's a movie studio. NASA's a movie studio. The government is just all smoke and mirrors, It's just, come on, man. Like, that's why they're so deep into the romance and all that, and the bromance and all that type of stuff. Because Roman antics, Saturnia is Rome. Saturn is Satan. The number for Saturn is 8. Like a snake eating its tail for eternity. You got to ask yourself if you're being romantic, and why? And why does that, why do you hold on to those values? It's just wild, man. It's just fear. So many things of fear, People inbreed to protect a false sense of wealth too. And in turn, we lose our true wealth, which is our melanin, which is our blood, however you want to look at it. But that is what happens. As we became fearful and we wanted to hide wealth, hide information, hide the truth, hide physical riches, people tried to inbreed to hold it together, to keep it from people. And all that did was create parasites, because inbreeding just, it just degrades the fabric. It degrades the fabric over time and makes the vessels more and more open. And you can look at Bengal tigers, look at white tigers, anybody, Google white tigers purebred. No, white tigers have been inbred Bengal tigers to make them white or make them pale. However, you should call it pale because darkness means diversity. And we all come from it. So it's not, you just have to find your tether. It's not to disconnect anybody to say that we come from this source of darkness. I mean, Taoists say that. They're Asian. In the Tao Te Ching, it says, stay to the dark. Know the light, know it, but stay to the dark. And the darkness is the infinite water that nourishes you. That's Asian saying. That's plenty of people. There's plenty. The darkness in the beginning was darkness. Then there was light. Darkness is where we all emanate from. The path to the light seems dark, right? That's from the Tao. That's from the Tao Te Ching. But the fear brought about the inbreeding, and the inbreeding brought about the pale people. And as that began to go, then we had physical separation. Now we're going from being all shades in one to people being just a single shade and being not stable, being pieces of shades because we're fragmenting into pieces. So now people, they think that they're listening to their thoughts, but they're just audience to parasites, like almost like propaganda. It's coming through in so many waves. It's coming through so many waves at you, through your discs, through the Wi-Fi, through everything. You're an audience. Your blood is your credit card, though. You got to know that the earthly lust leaches your credit, and as iron depletes, your ability to process life will deplete because you attach the air energy to the blood, and that feeds the body. You can't have cash flow if the iron's not flowing. So that's that, man. This is one of these podcasts. I'm going to go into alcoholism in a second here. R Bud Vegan on Amazon for the paperback books and for the ebooks. ROYALT512 at yahoo.com to get the PDFs for consultation and if you want to come to Kings Canyon to fast.